Sky is a riff that Dave had like a million years ago, and we had a whiteboard with all these songs, and that was called Dave's Opus. And just, what are we going to do with this? It's ridiculous. It's too much. No, we can't do it. And then when we went for it, it all came together.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
We are proud to announce that we have Defy Sports with us again for Season 3. Of course, Defy Sports are an Irish company who design sports merchandise. From your local Gaelic team to your soccer team to your cycling team, they will design everything that you need in your club, from bags to jerseys to shorts to socks. And what else, Luke?
Defy also offer merchandise for musicians. They will design merch for any band, singer, songwriter, any society, clubs, whatever you need merchandise for, they can accommodate you.
And you can find Defy at defy.ie or on all social media platforms. And now, a word from our sponsors.
We are absolutely delighted to announce that we have All Kings Competitions on board as a sponsor for Season 3 of That Sound podcast.
All Kings are Ireland's original and best online competition website.
From Ferraris to houses to cash to luxury holidays and everything in between, All Kings have got you covered at great prices, great value. They can't be beat.
Check out All Kings on all social media platforms.
Thank you.
Boys, what is happening?
How are you going?
How are you doing, boys?
Getting on the finest, tipping away like a weed humper.
So, boys, you are two members of the band Main Road. You want to tell us a little bit about the band, how it got started, or maybe some of your influences and stuff like that? Give us a backstory to the band.
Yeah, it used to be called Main Road after the city ground, but we're actually called Moyne Road now.
Oh, sorry.
That's what I was thinking.
Sorry.
You did too many conversations about building sites and fucking laying tar.
If he's only ever talking about halfway, my head's gone.
Ken's a massive city fan.
Sorry, boys. Main Road. Apologies.
You're grand. We're from North County Dublin, a small little fishing village called Lochshinny, in between Skerries and Rush. Is myself and Steve, we're brothers, and Ken is based in Rush, and we've been on the go for a good few years, but we were sort of, I lived in Sydney for maybe good to 7 or 8 years, and Steve, my bro, was in New York, as we said in the sort of preamble there earlier on, and we
were waylaid for a couple of years.
Yeah, did nothing for an age, and then when we got back together, we were like fucking too old to get a band back together, but we did it anyway. We said, "Fuck it, come on, let's do it and see if we can get an album out." And the lads, in fairness, were all on for it, and we went for it. A lot of the songs were maybe started by me in Sydney and Steve in New York, and we brought them with us when we moved back to Dublin. And Ken, Dave, Donny, all jumped in, and we got it going, got a ball rolling, and we now arrive at releasing Tomorrow's Sky there in August, and 11 of the songs we chose from those writing sessions, and here we are. As I said, we're far too old to be doing this, but it's great crack, and we can still look at each other and go, "Fuck it, sure, we'll make a fist of it and go for it and see if we can write a few songs, you know."
Fucking right, man. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Never too old, man.
Everyone tells us that and then fucking laughs up their sleeve, but we don't really give a fucking fairness. So
exactly.
That's
exactly what you want, because if they're talking, it's good publicity.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And like, it's only an excuse, as Ken will tell you, it's an excuse like, I'm just that bit older playing ball. I played football my whole life, and we surfed and the body is starting to fucking shut down from that. So this is something that we can continue, on hopefully for a while the bodies are still good, and we're all happy and all firing on all cylinders again. So it's great.
Cool. And then the first EP, am I right in saying, is Satellite in 2018? Was that the first material you put together?
It's actually 2012.
Oh, sorry. Wow.
Yeah, we did that. We did that before the two lads moved away for work, and that we literally did it before they moved away. Stewie, we recorded the last song, and he went the next day, And then we mixed it when he came back for like a holiday a few months later, and we put it out. We just kind of threw it out there and left it there, and we never played live with it. We never done anything with it, and it never turned out the way we wanted it to turn out. It was kind of mixed wrong, I think would be not mixed wrong, but the drums kind of Steve-O actually recorded the drums remotely in New York, and we recorded everything else here. And we went through, it was like the Spinal Tap moment. We went through about 5 drummers, and then we were just like, we've played in bands together, the 3 of us, for donkey's years, different bands, cover bands and that, and we were always like, we need Steve-O on drums, we need Steve-O on drums. So we just gave him the songs and we were like, you record them. So then the guy kind of made a bit of a balls of the recording of them, which we weren't ever too happy.
I don't know, man.
So
I know it worked. I think it's fucking great.
It's very cool, but it's not what we had in mind, if you know what I mean, or what Steve probably had in mind to showcase his drumming. I think he'd say himself he would have preferred to been in the room with us a lot more, you know.
Yeah. Look, it was an impossible task. You know, I'm set, and we're brothers, so at the drop of the hat, we will be at each other's throat, Gallagher bro style, no problem. Over the drum kit, full punch us. The lads will try to be politicians, and I always say, you lads need to step up and fucking stand in, and they're like, we're not getting in the middle of that, no way. So I'll be on the phone to him saying, Steve, I think it's more of a John Bonham beat for that, and you know, you're a bit busy, and he'd be like, forget it then. Get someone else to do it. And, you know, in fairness, he did a cracking job of me telling him to describing it down the phone, and he did an amazing job of that EP. And, like, I was getting on the plane to Sydney, so it was very last minute, but it still stands up. One of the lads listened to it the other day after we released the album, and he was like, that satellite's fucking cracking. So, yeah, we're pretty proud of that still, you know?
Oh, man, I
stuff on us.
Really enjoyed it. I actually give it a good spin today, and I really, really enjoyed it. I like some of the songs. I wrote a few notes for The Door. Like, it's impossible not to bang your head to that song.
Yeah, that's still in the set. That goes down pretty well all the time. So that's one of the closes in the set that we just can't seem to drop, and it really goes down well. So yeah, a lot of people.
And California.
Yeah.
The last time we were opening up with that quite a lot.
Big vocals in that song too, man.
Yeah, there's a couple of moments there, all right.
Yeah.
Nose bleeders there.
in a Chris Cornell in you.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a great compliment. Thanks. It'd be brilliant. It was a brilliant song to sing. It was full of energy. We had a ball doing it, and it was just, I suppose, it was. Stewie wrote the song, and he was just kind of like, I have this great melody, I have to sing it. And then it was just like, are you fucking serious?
There's another fight going to start. It wasn't going to be brothers.
He does to me on a regular basis. He's like, I can't sing this, but I think you can.
But even Too Late as well. I think the heavy riff is groovy. It's some fucking great tracks in that place.
Yeah, we should probably look at bringing some of them back in, and we're in the midst of going through songs and seeing what we'll bring out and play live. We're everything's on the table. We've tons of material and way too much, but it's a good complaint, you know. It's great.
I suppose it's probably better to look forward than to look back, but I think you definitely left some good stuff there you should be proud of. I think
appreciate that, man.
I was driving around the place today and I was enjoying it, I'll tell you. So let's get into the newer stuff then. Tomorrow's Sky. It's definitely a different style to Satellite, but obviously this is what you wanted to go down this alleyway. I'm not saying it's hugely different, but there is obviously differences. Would you agree?
Sure, yeah.
100%, yeah.
You're going to be involved in the fist fight now as well.
Yeah. No, not in a bad way.
No, not in a bad way.
If you'd heard our conversation on the phone today, we'll talk most days. You know, myself, Steve, Ken, Dave, and if you'd have heard our conversation today, it got fairly heated. But that's what it's not heated, but everyone has an opinion, and we want to be cohesive, and you want everyone to be happy in the unit. And that's the only way it really moves forward. And everyone's very similar with their taste. Tomorrow Sky is born out of like songs. Tomorrow Sky itself, the title track was written before I left for Australia back in, say, 2011, 12. And we started writing it and we said, we resurrected it and sort of Frankensteined it into something that we probably slightly different than we thought originally. But so stylistically, that is a very different step probably on the album. But everything else was, I'd write some in Sydney, wrote some in Dublin, and we got together. And when I got back first, we were going down an even probably more different route than Sky itself. And we kind of said, look, let's get our best songs together and see what we can do with them. And we wanted a big chorus and everything, you know what I mean? And we wanted to be brash, and we're big fans of American rock and roll, American rock, and you know, all those things behind you, Maiden and Metallica, we're all brought up on that. And you know, we wanted to have those big moments and not be afraid of and wimp away from those. And now that we've done it, we're proud of not backing down on that, you know. And there's not a lot of bands that just stick to that and go for it and do a full-length album of. Not a lot of bands probably dumb enough to do it, like, you know, but we're proud of it and delighted with the outcome.
Oh, 100%. Like, as you touched on there, like the American style, like I think it's your latest single, isn't it? The American Dream. Like, yeah. It's obviously it's different than that, but I think it's great that obviously in that album, I found personally there was a couple of different genres all together, and you got a kind of melody of everything. Like that song, I got kind of like Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, kind of all mixed together, you know, and I found it with a great hook in it as well, that, you know, the crowd sings it back to you. It has that melody, it has that hook.
It's a very interactive song.
Yeah, it's a very well structured and produced song, I should say.
It is, and Steve wrote that, my bro, the drummer, actually wrote that one, and he was like, I had a bunch of songs. I was in Sydney and I was sending songs back to him. He'd moved back to Dublin at this stage, and I was like, well, for fuck's sake, I've written these amount of songs. Why don't you write a song or two to help the process? And he sent me that the next day. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So
he won that route.
He won that route.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, that's a great song. It's definitely one of our best, if not. And it's absolutely that Tom Petty old school Americana vibe, which is in us, yeah, definitely.
And it kind of opened up as well, us being able to show that side of the band, because we were always very, very scared of that delicate side. We were always been like, no, let's just hard as nails, go, the big riffs, go.
Sellouts, man.
Yeah, but then it was just like, well,
smashing the records.
Show this side, you know?
Yeah, no, and it works because it's a very catchy song, and it's perfect for radio, I should say. You know, it's
you guys used to be about the music, and then you sold out, man.
Yeah.
No, it's brilliant. It's absolutely class, and as Gavin said, it's very radio friendly.
Very radio friendly. Tightrope then as well. I found I like the way the vocals have that bit of distortion in it as well. And overall, I think the lyrics in that album are they come across as quite personal and quite real. Like, I think Snowplow, even the first song, like it's just a very good song. And the lyrics I really connected with, I should say.
Yeah, well, we spent a lot of time, I don't know how many drafts of lyrics we go through and how many discussions sitting in Stewie's kitchen there. We'd be like, this is what the song's about, that we need to change that line, we need to do this, we really kind of honed in on it right up to the point of where we were actually singing it with different lyrics live all the way up. And then 2 weeks before we went in and recorded it, we literally sat down between every song and just line by line we went through them all, and the lads were like, no, you got to do something different there, let's try this, let's try that, and we kind of took it to that level, you know, which is different, because I think when you're recording an album, we just realized it was just such a different animal to to an EP. Like, it was so much work. Like, the EP was easy.
Especially a rock album with all those elements of big vocals, guitars, layered solos, harmonies, big drums, breakdowns, you know, all that stuff that we love. It takes a certain commitment, not patting ourselves in the background, but we kind of started it and then realized we can't do this, but we have to finish. We said we'd do it. So there was moments of doubt and moments of, Jesus Christ, who does this anymore? It's sort of archaic almost to do a full length.
It's nearly like wanting to get a big tattoo. You know, and you're into it, and it's fucking killing you after 4 or 5 hours, and you're like, oh man, I can't do this. But
yes, I'm already regretting the tattoo.
No, honestly, like, having worked on a few records myself and been part of that process, it is a very funny situation that it's hard to explain to someone unless you've been in it. But you have all of these ideas in your head, and then you start to hear it back when it's recorded or to a click track, and when you're working with a producer, which can sometimes lead to some fiery encounters at times. You really need to have a lot of patience and a good tolerance for working in the studio.
100%. And
you start to realise that it's more work, as you said, Stuart, than you might think.
Absolutely. And you're right. Those ideas in your head as a musician or an artist or whatever you're doing, or you might be a stonemason, you might be a painter or whatever. There's a Chris Cornell lyric that I always go back to that sort of illustrates it perfectly. And it's something like, the words you say never seem to live up to the ones inside your head. You know, you have these great ideas and you're like, oh, this is the best song ever. We're going to do this. And then you listen to it and you record it and you do everything. And you're like, geez, that doesn't work. And some of the songs that come from nowhere that you don't put any pass on sometimes flower into something spectacular you didn't see, you know, which is cool.
That's also the beauty of music too, though, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. It's a great way of putting it.
Yeah. But even like when you were saying, like going back to playing the album live, we'd say when you start touring, like you have that option too of you can still change things back to or manipulate different things or move things. Like, you know, that I love that about playing live, that you can change things around.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, well, we were just saying we unfortunately lost our original bass player that played on the album.
He's still alive.
He's still alive. We didn't lose him. He's still alive. We can find him, but we got a new guy in, and again, it was the same thing. We were like, look, dude, you don't have to go verbatim for this. You can just, nail it. But if there's something you feel you want to put it in. Like, unless it's a screaming moment that stands out, just go for your life. And it's made the band, like, even, it's just, we're getting tighter and tighter again with him there. And some of the little things you notice, you're kind of like, that's brilliant, like, that's cool. That's a totally different perspective from someone else,
Yeah. That's
so it's great.
Like, sometimes a change is better than a break, but it's nice that you can have the compliments instead of saying, and I want the old guy back, but it's great that you can miss him at the same time and appreciate what the new flavour your new bass players brought.
100%.
Like, Dunny was a phenomenal musician. We couldn't have done the album without him. He brought a huge sound to the album, and what he played on it was brilliant. It was great, and it's just obviously a new member breathes in a bit of new life into the band.
Yeah, for sure. Nice creative influences.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, where did the artwork come from? I'm a massive fan of the artwork.
A mate of mine from Drogheda is a graphic designer, like more business end of things, and I was chatting to him one day and we were talking about album covers, and he just kind of jumped in. He was like, I'll do it for you. And I was like, that's not really what you do. And he was just like, no, I want to do it. Gary Gartland is his name. And he was just like, no, I want to do it. And we kind of just said it. We didn't really give him that much of a scope, really, Stu, didn't we? We just said, keep it simple, keep it plain. We don't want anything fancy or anything like that. And then he kind of came back with about 4 or 5 images, and immediately everyone just went, the bear. take it now.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
There, yeah, it's really cool. It's really I love the idea on a white background. I think it's really stark. It stands out, and we were lucky enough to have some really nice reviews from Europe and the UK and Scandinavia, all sorts of places, and States as well. And one of them sort of said, well, these guys were away and they were sort of in hibernation for a few years before they released Mars Guy. And, we were like, yeah, cool. That makes sense. That's great.
He chose the bear on purpose, of course.
Yes.
You're away gaining life experience to write more music.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the bear is just coming out of hibernation apparently, so it's going to be probably shot soon. So
No, that bear looks hungry.
It'll be up on the wall there behind Stu in a while.
Get the rifle out.
But yeah, I got an overall well, before I ask that question, have you any? I know it's hard to say favorite songs, but is there any songs that you're more, would say, proud of overall than others on the album? I know that's a very difficult question to ask, but
no, there's favorites and they move around all the time. Like Tightrope, I love the bounce of that riff and doing that. I had a chorus that lifted and Holding You. I can remember writing at my apartment in Sydney in 2 minutes, walking around with my acoustic going, geez, that pretty much stuck exactly how it was when it was written. So I love those. Sky as well. Tomorrow's Sky is a riff that Dave had like a million years ago, and we had a whiteboard with all these songs, and that was called Dave's Opus. And just, what are we going to do with this? It's ridiculous. It's too much. No, we can't do it. And then when we went for it all came together, and I love that.
It actually came together we were jamming in my house one day, and we had the first mellow part of the song. And the lads, what are we going to do? How are we going to do? Where are we going with this song? It's not going anywhere. And I was like, I'm going to have to make a cup of tea. Who wants tea? And I walked out. And the next minute, all I heard in the background was that big riff, the kind of jin jin, da 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 da. And I just walked back in. I was like, what the fuck's that, boys? And they were like, what was what? And I was like, what did you just play there? Like, that's it. And they were like, what are you talking about? What's what? And I was like, just play what you played a minute ago. And they were like, you can't put that on there. And I was like, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, so you kind of got moments like that on the album. There's all little favorite things, like the last song, I'll Be Home. We actually recorded another song, and we made it, not that we made a balls of it, but it just didn't pan out, didn't work for the album. And the producer was like, you need another song. You have to get another song in there. And Stewie was like, well, I have this. And we literally went in, set up 3 mics in a room and banged it out in less than an hour, I'd say, wasn't it, Stu?
Yeah, that was the last minute. That was like, when you have the sweats and it's like, oh Christ, we're not going to put this on it. We're just sitting down and going, it goes like this, kind of, I think. And these are sort of the vocal. Yeah, this is the lyric, this is the idea of the song. But yeah, it worked out. It was nice to have a little moment like that in the album, in fairness.
Definitely. Sometimes they're always the biggest hits, the ones that you don't think there's going to be a hit.
Yeah.
It just happens, and it's just kind of meant to be, maybe, you never know.
Yeah.
Influences then, like growing up, what kind of stuff were you listening to?
But we all kind of, I suppose our collective is kind of Metallica. That's where that's our center point. And then the whole Seattle thing, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. And then I suppose individually we vary off. Steve's a huge Pumpkins fan. Stewie was like Chili Peppers for a long time, and then I'd be a massive Pearl Jam fan. But, we're kind of all in and around the same area, and then lots of Zeppelin and Sabbath.
Right up there, Ali.
All the usuals, we're not breaking any molds here or anything like that. We're dinosaurs.
Yeah. I have to ask you on the topic of Metallica, what's your favourite album?
Puppets.
I always flip. It depends on what time of day or what mood or whatever it's between. For me, it's between Puppets and the Black Album. But it's hard. It's hard to pick. Like Dave and Steve would they love the sound on Load, and we'd go deep with Metallica. We'd always, like a lot of Metallica fans, it's hard. It's hard to pick it. we saw the first of the new album in Amsterdam. We were there for 2 nights there last year. We were in Warsaw this year. The whole crew, the band, and everyone else were there. So we've seen them a bunch of times all around the world. But hard to pick.
It's different, I suppose. It's Sonics, the albums, like the Black albums. The sound is just
the drums,
phenomenal.
Unbelievable.
You know, if Puppets had the sound of the Black album, what would you have? Like, it'd be crazy. But
you wouldn't have Puppets though.
No,
exactly.
It's a time and a place and where you were and who you were with. You know.
Yeah.
I put on Puppets. It came on in the van. I was driving around the van, and I haven't listened to it in a long time, or whatever. But Orion came on, and there's moments in it that, like music always does, you just get like directly back to 19 wherever you were, and you know, it's just that beauty of music being able to do that. And it is a nostalgia trip, and I'm sure Lars and the boys are like, oh God, you know, as they always said, you lost your virginity to Master Puppets, whatever, you know. But it's hard to think. Nowadays, we're never going to have that experience again. Put it that way. We're too old to have that super nostalgia. Like the new Metallica album, for instance, is about your first 18 years of life, and that you're sort of rubber stamp, time printed for the rest of your life. Those memories are in you. They're in your soul. You know what I mean? It's so whatever you've been listening to in those formative years, I suppose, is going to stick with you no matter what. You know, I remember, like, if Toto Africa comes on, you know, I know where I was as a little kid. I know, you know, those 80s synth band. I love them because it's part of the nostalgia of growing up.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of other really embarrassing stuff I could say, but I won't about it.
That's come up on the podcast a lot about just exactly what you just said.
Like a time machine.
Closest thing to a time machine, like, you know.
But it is, I suppose, your favorite band like can release just as good an album 20 years later, but you're not pissed up with your mates 20 years old having a ball listening to it. You're sitting there with your kids and your family, and it's a different scenario, you know what I mean? So it's not going to have the same meaning to you.
Yeah. The first time I seen them was 03, I think, in the RDS.
That was with Lincoln
Ken can
Park
beat you.
and all
that. Ken can beat you there.
I saw them on the this is not an age thing, by the way. I was like 11. I was 11 on our 10 or something, and I didn't know what I was. I saw them on the Justice tour in the Top Hat in Dunleary.
No way.
Nice.
My cousin was a journalist, a music journalist. He was a lot older than me. He was probably 17 or 18. He lives in Australia now. And for some reason, he dragged me along, and I hadn't a clue who they were or what they were. I knew nothing about them. And it was only probably a year or two after that, I was like, I saw that band. I know that band. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Dave Moore was at that gig too.
Wow. Yeah, like it was, I don't remember a lot of it, or I remember being there. Don't remember the music. Don't remember anything. I remember they had this kind of smaller version of the Justice, Lady and Just, and all that kind of thing on the thing. It wasn't the full regalia that they had around Europe. I think it was just some cheap knockoff version of it for the like a midget of justice. Yeah.
we caught them in Madrid there, and look, they're still knocking it out the park.
Unbelievable. I had one of the lads who played music with us years ago was actually in the SFX for the Puppets tour and stood under Burton that night, which is pretty special to think.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah. That's serious. So we're gone off topic here, rambling about Metallica.
We're right on topic, lads. Let's face it.
Keep it going.
We are right on topic.
Yeah, that's what we're all about.
Yeah. You went on, Stu, you went on the podcast with Clint, were you? The Metal Up Your podcast, no?
No.
Funny, because there was a guy from Dublin, and he was at the Warsaw gig, and he was chatting to him. And as you were talking, I remember listening back to it. I'm like, is that you? I was like, okay, so it's another Irish guy that was in Warsaw. Okay. I don't know if you ever checked that podcast out, Metal Up Your Podcast.
I must check it out. Actually, yeah, I must listen.
He gets people on that have been to the current tour, and they give their feedback and have a wee chat.
What did you think yourself, lads?
Ah,
Yeah. Still,
unbelievable.
yeah.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
And Five Finger Jesus Christ.
Five Finger Death Punch were absolutely unreal.
Yeah.
They were class too on
really
the
good.
Sunday night. Like they were just, man.
But
class.
the overall stadium and everything Madrid was Atletico Madrid Stadium. It was just class. It was brilliant. And we caught Pearl Jam on the Thursday night. We'd seen Pearl Jam Thursday night, Metallica Friday, and Metallica Sunday.
Whoa. What a week.
Oh, class. Yeah, we
That was
saw Pearl Jam
unbelievable.
before as well, Marley Park. We were there.
That was supposed to be a great gig as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it was phenomenal. It was brilliant.
We've definitely talked way too much about Madrid on this podcast.
Oh, but that's all good. It's all good. Everybody's sick of us by now, but
Yeah. What else can we talk? So, what would you love to see? What's the future?
I think we just wanted to like get it done and get it out there and say, right, we've done it and it's great. We wanted to release and make and create that big, as I said, rambunctious kind of American rock album that we always wanted. That, and once that's off the to-do list, so to speak, we've already started. Like we're working a long time on it as far as writing it and pre-production and mixing it, etc. So it's almost like you're not that you're sick of the song, but you want to I feel like we will go in a different direction again. You know what I mean? I want it. We're still going to be rocking and doing whatever we can, but we're really looking forward to, creating again, getting out and playing. And it's like I was saying to the lads, like a direct reaction to it almost. You know what I mean? You spend so much time wanting to do it, wanting to make it like that. It's like, I don't want to listen to it. I want to do something totally different. And I can understand some bands doing that. I never really understood that. We'd always be saying, why don't Pearl Jam make 10 again? Because they didn't particularly like elements of it. Yeah. And how would you, you know what I mean? But
I do know what you mean, yeah. Yeah, 100%. And do you have much ready to go? Have you much material backed up and ready to record again? Or
too much?
We've too much. We've got
brilliant.
That's a good.
That's what you want.
We've got another album worth of material, which we
wow.
In the middle of doing the first one, we automatically assumed that it would be the second one. It was made up of stuff we left off, other songs we had. It's pretty much written, but now, as Stewie was saying, you're faced with the prospect of, hold on a minute, maybe we want to go somewhere else. Maybe we want to just change the direction slightly, change the sound a little bit, and then there's like writing songs in Mine Road is definitely, it's not a problem at all. Stewie's a library of stuff, and everyone kind of comes in and contributes to bits and pieces, and there's songs are definitely not the issue. It's just a matter of now is where we're going, what we want to do, and stuff that we thought we were going to automatically do, we're kind of now questioning, going, no, maybe we won't do that. We toyed with the idea of EPs, like an acoustic EP, a heavy EP, a different, maybe a way of getting things off your back a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. Tomorrow's Sky was quite laborious in the way that we recorded it and went about it. Now I think we want to be more organic, everything will be more live in the studio. It'll be more quicker, and
I think that's as Ken said, I think that's born out of like logistics, probably, because Steve was in the States, I was in Sydney.
Yeah.
We got back and we're like, okay, this is how I see this going. But now that we've got 5 blokes in a room again, it's nice to just let it breathe. What have you got? Let's jam for a while. Let's see what.
Yeah. That's when the magic happens.
Yeah. Hopefully, we've never really done it that way. It's always been a bit. This is a song.
Here's a song.
Yeah, and I'd definitely be on for and want to open it up and with all of us contribute and throwing paint at the wall and see how we go.
Yeah, we've always had a high bar in what we do as well. We're our own biggest critics, and I think we'll probably continue to do that as well. So like we can write, then filter afterwards. So that's the.
Well, it's a
that's the
good
thing.
position to be in, to have something to go in with and mess about with and let it go here, let it go there, and just let the magic happen when you're all in the same room, not in down under and fucking in that big
New
apple.
York, and everyone's on a different time zone, and it gets messy.
You done well to do what you did, and great material, and that definitely mustn't have been easy. So fair play to you guys.
I appreciate it, lads.
Thanks a million. Thanks.
Yeah. Will we do a bit of question time, Luke?
Yeah, let's go to question time.
He's on for a few questions, just random questions.
Knock him out.
You go first.
I'll go first. Do you have any other hobbies outside of music?
Yeah. Tons. Football, surfing.
I surf, kite surf, do all that kind of water sports, sailing.
Nice.
The beauty because of living next to the sea, I suppose, that does help.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be hard to get away from it, I suppose.
Yeah, you do what's on your doorstep, I suppose. It's easy. It's the easiest thing to do.
It's
That's
beautiful.
what our new bassist surfs as well. And he's like, got to do a tour of the West, just the West, and get a surf tour. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. We got to do a little bit of that. Yeah, for sure.
That'd be great crack.
I've got a few blokes in Australia that were on, like friends that we sort of fell in, that were on the pro tour at one stage, and a couple of them were like, "Oh, we're getting your music into surf videos down here." I was like, "Absolutely, yeah, let's."
Yeah, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah,
they were like, "Yeah, snowplow. We're definitely go. I like snowplow for a big wave sort of montage or whatever." And I said, "Yeah, whatever you want." And yeah,
have you ever been over to Mullaghmore?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been over there. Not in the water, just been looking at it.
Oh man, I was over there. I was walking over that part of the world one day, and I took a spin out, and I was watching them. Man, they are fucking crazy.
Oh, it's mad, man.
They are batshit crazy. Getting towed out with the jet ski and these waves, man.
Huge.
Fucking massive. And right next to the rock, like.
Yeah, different level.
Like, I have no idea about surfing, but I'm told like the best in the world come to the likes of Mullaghmore for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get the boys over, maybe shoot some videos off the cliff.
100%.
Exactly, yeah.
Get the drone going.
Yeah, get the drone going, man. Get the bear. Wake the bear up.
Wake the bear.
The bear's somewhere in Montana.
Poke the bear.
Poke the bear, boys, yeah.
Lads, what's your go-to fast food or takeaway?
Fast food. I don't know, pizza.
Nice.
Very popular opinion tonight.
What's good up around your spot, Kenny?
There is a place in Skerries called Little Richards. It's a pub, the bus bar, and Little Richards is off the side of it.
That's good.
Good pizzeria.
Brilliant. Sounds good.
And a bar. Oh, yeah, it's class. That's one of the bars that we'll probably be playing in later on. Well, Stewie played in it last year and burnt it down.
Yeah, we did. We
literally burnt it down.
We did. We played a gig, like a just cover band gig, a little side with a couple of mates, and we had the gear set up, and we finished and the barman comes over, and it was starting to piss rain outside, and he's like, "Do you want to leave your gear there till tomorrow, boys? Leave it there, get it tomorrow." And I was like, "Sweet, we might have a beer and leave it there." And something just clicked in my head, and I went, "You know what? I can get it in the van and get it out." So at 12 o'clock the next day, I'm driving by, and the place is gone.
Fire brigade, the whole fucking thing, it burned to the ground.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we leave that there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Right, Stewie, what's your go-to takeaway?
Yeah. No, that's good.
Anything barbecued.
Yeah.
Shrimp.
Chow grilled.
Yes. No, I like Thai food as well, and some nice places up here as well.
Did you do much travelling in Australia when you were there?
Yeah, we saw it's so vast, but we were like obviously in Perth and Margaret River surfing, and we were up in Coolangatta, Tweed Heads, Snapper Rocks. There is amazing surf up there, and down the south coast of Australia is phenomenal. And Miss it big time. Yeah, miss being in the water all the time. And I was when I was moving back, my local surf shop, they were like, "What's it like surfing back in Ireland?" And I was like, "Well, you've like 6 mil wetsuits and you big fucking rubber balaclavas and gloves and footwear and a whole lot, and there's wind and it's snowing." And my the bloke in my local surf shop was sort of looking at me going, "It's not surfing, mate." And I went, "Yeah, you're right. After a while, it's not. You dance across in your board shorts and paddle out."
Yeah, but Jaws isn't going to eat your ass in the fucking bay.
True. Just before we moved back, like 2 weeks before I moved back, I never really had didn't see any in the years I was there. And there was a 5.5 meter great white caught on our local beach 2 weeks before we were coming home. And we went out the next day for 20 minutes and everyone got spooked, said, "Fuck this, we get out." And I was like, "I only have 2 weeks." It was like Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon. I was like, 2 weeks from retirement here, I don't be taken down.
Get the saxophone out.
Yeah.
That's the next album.
Bleeding Gums Murphy on the saxophone.
I actually seen a tiger shark. I went to Fraser Island and
Yeah.
I was driving along in the Jeeps and like no shit, like maybe 20 foot in from the edge of the water, this
they're
tiger
everywhere.
shark jumps right out, and like your man was like, "That's why we tell you do not go in the water." I'm like, I ain't put my fucking toe in that shit. No way.
People aren't supposed to swim around Fraser Island.
No, it's riddled in
No,
tiger
you're not
sharks.
allowed.
Oh, man.
It's frowned upon.
Are they big hoor?
And then you got the dingoes.
The dingoes?
Yeah, funny story. I'm actually not going to tell that story. I'll tell you when we stop. Remind me. What else have we got? Right, boys, name me a book, an album, and a movie that everyone should check out.
I'm on a movie.
Over Ken.
A book. I would go Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Brilliant.
Love it. A movie would be The Godfather, Part 1 and
Cool.
2, I think, or Star Wars, whatever you want. And what was the third one? A book, a movie, and
An album.
an album. But for me, it'd be 10. Pearl Jam 10.
Brilliant.
Hard to beat.
There's some solid shouts, Ken.
Yeah.
Unpredictable. If anything.
We done a review of Pearl Jam's 10 on the podcast too, so we did. It was good crack.
You know what? And there's no word of a lie. I'm going through a Pearl Jam phase at the moment, maybe after seeing them or whatever. And I said, geez, I'm going to put their albums on because, you forget there's so much content out there. And I said, for the last 3 weeks, every time I jump into the van or whatever, I've gone through it chronologically, but I started at verses for whatever reason, because I know 10 inside out, gone through. So the other day, yesterday or whatever, put on 10. I said, I must put on 10. Just listen again to how it was recorded. And they're always talking about the reverb on it and whatever. And I stopped listening. I looked at my phone. I said, fucking hell. It was the 27th of August. It was the day it was released. It was the 27th of August, 1991. Yeah, it's mad. And I was like, it's amazing to listen back when you haven't listened to it in a few years or whatever, in its entirety. And Eddie's vocal is so in your face. It's like,
That's huge.
unbelievable.
And it still holds ground today. Like it didn't age. It's still like flawless.
No.
Like
I'll tell you what, those albums say because of the shit that's coming out like Tomorrow's Sky. But you know what I mean? There's so much. It illuminated that 1991 6 weeks had Pearl Jam 10 released, Blood Sugar Sex Magic released, Nirvana's Nevermind released, Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger,
Black Album.
the Black
Future
Album, of
Illusion
course.
1 and 2.
In a 6 week period, lads, there's been 16 years albums like that haven't been seen.
Touched.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we were blessed to grow up with that. And I know every outlet says, "Oh, music back in my day," and fucking whatever. But
yeah,
it was-
no, it's true.
Let me tell you, music back in my day, yeah.
yeah, 100%.
But it's true. It is true.
Well, I'll tell you why. The testament to that is my nephews and kids and Steve or whoever's kids are listening. My sister's kids are listening to our music, and I'm going, well, what are you into, lads, yourself? They're playing guitar, you know, Caroline's kids are playing guitar, my sister, they're brilliant, they're really good, but they're listening to Puppets, and they're listening to
Yeah.
Nevermind, and they're listening to all this, not listening to their own stuff, because it's been so diluted.
Yeah, I had a proud daddy moment there during the week.
Yeah.
My 5-year-old son, I walked down to the bedroom and he's on YouTube, and I could hear Orion by Metallica, and I'm like,
Oh my God.
who's listening to that? And I walked down and he's kind of laying on the bed like this. I'm like, what are you doing? Listening to Metallica. I like this one. I'm like,
Oh wow.
yes.
That doesn't get better. He just went straight to the
Those
top.
t-shirts are paying off.
Yeah, we're kind of brainwashing him with like giving him Metallica t-shirt. But no, he's like, "No, I like the guitar on this one." I'm like, oh yes, I'm doing something right.
What a 5-year-old. That's amazing.
I swear to God, like he'll sit. Obviously, he watches me watch him. You know yourself. But to see him watching it on his own, I'm like, wow.
And he loves it. He headbangs and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
he's in
it's
the band.
class. Yeah. You like that one? Yeah.
I had
Then he
that
says,
the other day,
put
my
on
lads.
Slipknot, put the scary guys on. He goes,
I had that the other day. My young lad's gone crazy for skateboarding at the moment, and he's out every day in the driveway doing all these, trying to do this, trying to do that. And then we were going in the car the other day, and I got out of the car and I got back into the car about 5 minutes later, and all of a sudden there's like, I was coming towards the car and I was like, what's that noise? Like, Jesus Christ. I opened the door and he has Green Day Dookie, and he's
nice.
playing it because he's seen it on Tony Hawk's skateboard video game, and he's heard it, and he's playing it, and he's like, do you know this song? I was like, hey, what are you talking about? Do I know this song?
I used to drink cans of cider to this song when I was 16. Yeah.
No, it's all good.
Where are we now?
What are we going? The super band?
Yeah.
You go with it.
So, guys, if you could piece together a 5-piece band, dead or alive, to record your dream album, who would they be?
Stu, you can answer that one. I
Yeah,
have the pizza one.
we always, we've been having this drunken argument for
of course.
forever, you know, and it changes. It always changes, you know. I would have Cliff in there on bass. On drums, I'm really with drummers. I'm like, I go completely off. I go real simple, powerful drummers. I love John Tempest from the Cult.
The Cult, brilliant.
Just think, I love
talking about him.
Yeah, we were talking about him today.
He's phenomenal. I was drumstick over there.
No way.
He's unbelievable.
Did you go to the gig in Wicklow at the Forest Fest, was it? Or?
No.
I was in
this
I was in
a couple of
Liverpool.
years ago. I
Good.
played the Ambassador a few years ago for that album. Was it Choice of Weapons, Stu, or something? One of them.
Yeah.
The black and white album cover. Me and Stu went. He was just back from Australia, and he was. I think it was John Tempest's first tour with them or something, maybe.
Nice.
It was
And they were
unbelievable.
just phenomenal. They were unbelievable. When you catch them and they're on, they're unbelievable. I believe Billy Duffy was a bit of an arsehole at that first fest. He was giving out shite to people or something off the microphone.
Oh,
Lad Billy, he was probably dead right.
He probably was.
I'd have Cliff.
I'm back to Billy.
I like Billy.
That's Billy right there.
I wouldn't mess with Billy.
Who'd win a fight, you or Billy?
William would win that one, I'd say. We'd leave Billy on that. I'd have Dimebag and Cliff playing off each other. That'd be insane.
John Tempesta, Dimebag, Cliff, yeah.
Yeah, like there's I know tastier and more extravagant drummers, and all my drum mates are going, why don't you? You know, but I love.
Who's on rhythm?
Rhythm guitar.
Yeah. Or keyboard, whatever you want.
Yeah. Well, I'd have Axel singing.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. No, not you.
Deep burn.
And On rhythm guitar, I would have.
I know.
It's hard not to have Hetfield in there, but I don't know.
Did you not go with Malcolm?
Oh my God, what a band! Yes, I
Malcolm
would.
Young.
I would go with Mal, actually. Yeah,
That'd be unreal.
I like
Malcolm, Cliff, Dimebag, John Tempesta, and Axel.
that.
Yeah.
I think John Tempesta and Mal are just holding that together as the two boys are going crazy either side,
Yeah.
and
That'd
that's
be
something
sick.
showing up.
Imagine that
Axel
dressing
probably
room.
wouldn't. Yeah, Axel probably wouldn't show up for that.
Be a lot of. If you got them in the 80s or so, there'd be a lot of Jaeger,
Yes.
a lot of boxing.
It'll be fun. Are you going to Pantera next year, boys?
Yeah,
We are, yeah. We're looking forward to that. That'll be crack.
I know it's you
Yeah.
know, but I'm taking it. I've never
sweet.
got, it's the closest I'm going to get.
But we had tickets for the one the 9/11 one in Dublin. They were supposed to play there, and then they chickened out. We saw Slayer and someone else. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah,
instead.
funny. Someone chatted about that to us there not too long ago as well. I would have loved to seen Dimebag. He's fucking a
Oh, yeah.
legend. A legend. A legend.
Amazing.
Boys, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, and I want to thank you for taking the time to come on with us, and we wish you the best of luck in the future, and we hope to catch you on the road someday.
Oh, you will.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it will. We'll keep in touch, let you know when we're
Yeah,
doing.
definitely.
Dude,
Keep in
surely,
touch.
yeah. If we're up in Skerries, we'll let you know what's happening.
And if anyone
Yeah,
wants to
we'll
catch you
buy
guys, you have
buy us a few
Instagram
chicken
and
wings.
Facebook, all that crack, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenny, you can look after that. Well,
Yeah, we're on Instagram at Mine Road Music. I think Facebook is Mine Road Band. And then we have mineroadmusic.com. There's a TikTok account there, which I don't have a clue what it is. So I
Yeah,
had to set
we're
it
the
up,
same.
but it's kind of gone by the wayside.
We'll add some tags on to the post when we shoot this out. We'll tag you in it and get.
lads,
get some-
thanks a million for having
Absolutely
us. And-
brilliant.
and
Yeah, thanks for having us.
thanks for the kind words about the album, and we really
Yeah.
appreciate it. We will definitely be up your way.
Definitely.
Later on the year, if not into next year, we'll be looking to come through Carrick Shore. And
Definitely.
Brilliant.
We'll keep
Yeah.
an eye on your page, and we'll throw it up on our stories and stuff like that whenever we see some action on your page.